G'day everybody, Steve from Mud Ducks 4-Drive Touring. Hope you're well. This week's video is slightly different. It's filmed over a few days, possibly even a couple of weekends. And what I'm going to do is rip the back seat out of the Ranger and we're going to make a floor to turn it into a two-seater. I'm going to enlist the help of Andrew and Pat. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. From our rugged north all the way down to the beautiful south, the centre, the east, the west, doesn't matter where, from travel to tips and all sorts of other things for driving, you've come to the right place. Come for a ride with us at Mud Ducks 4-Drive Touring. So I'm at home at the present time, but we're going to take all the crap out of here and figure out how to get that out. So I've never pulled a Ranger back seat out before, so I guess we'll find out as we go. Alright, so on inspection I found that the bottom of the back seat is attached to the back of the seat, and down there, hopefully you can see that, there's two Torx bolts that hold that on. Now that whole hinge assembly is what holds the back seat in. Obviously there's another one on the other side, and I use the same size Torx bolts to pull out the seat belt mounts on the floor, so we'll have a look at that as we go. That's if I can even find my Torx tools, if they're big enough. So upon inspection, before I undo that seat belt, the lap sash one for the centre, needs to be removed. So I'll undo all the seat belt mounts down here first, so I can actually remove the seat belt. And they look like they're the same size Torx bolt. If anybody's a Ranger, it's a T50. So all I've got to do now is hope I'm strong enough to undo them. Anyway, we'll get onto that and go from there. Now once you've removed that Torx bolt, which if you had a right angle cordless and a T50 Torx had to be easier, but otherwise using that thing, it's a slow process. You've got an electrical plug here you have to undo. This will be the same on the other side, so I won't show you this on both sides. Once you've got that unplugged, that should be free from the floor. And this lot looks like it's attached to the seat itself, so they'll come out with it. So I'll undo that plug, and I'll undo the other side, and we'll go from there. If you're pulling the back seat out of your Ranger, I would suggest, if you have a cordless impact driver or something like that with a T50 set on it, that would be the go, because there's no bloody room to reach down there to use your leverage of the long end of your standard set of T50s. So I've had to do the old spanner on the end thing and hold it. Now I've managed to crack it loose that way, and it will come undone. I'm not going to show you the tedious job of undoing them all, but that's how I've done it. But I dare say with a cordless impact driver type of thing and a T50 socket for it, which as I said I don't have, that would be easier, because you can see you've limited room to work with. You pull this bit of carpet up here and that exposes them. Same on the other side. And I can tell you, they're bloody tight. Holy mackerel, that was hard to undo. Anyway, I've got that one loose. I'm not going to undo it any further until I undo the other side, just to make sure. Otherwise, what's the point? Alright, I'll show you them when they're all undone, hopefully. Right, now with the able assistance of Kaz, I've been able to remove the seat. I'm going to put all the bolts that are meant to be in these holes back in, even though that's only a locating pin there. And I'm going to put all the bolts back in where they're supposed to be. I've WD-40'd them all up, as I tend to do. I'll put those back in and I'll work out the seatbelt mechanism here. That probably has to be removed. And I'll work out the side ones as well. Because usually if you haven't got a seat in, you can't have a seatbelt, so we'll figure that out. But I'll put the bolts back in and I'll get my trusty offsider there to go inside the house, get the vacuum cleaner. I may as well vacuum all this crap out. It's had 4 years of mess. So I'm going to do the bolts up while she does that, and we'll give you a look at it at that point. Now what I didn't show you is me removing the back trim that goes there. That was hard. With the aid of a trusty trim removal tool, and it was just the first one I found, that one, I was able to just pry it under where it clips on. Now I've done that because I need to be able to thread the seatbelt componentry through that. That's welded in by the look of it. There's no way that'll come out. And remove the mechanism down here using yet another Torx T50. And that'll be about as much as I'm going to do with it today. I probably should do something with those, but I can look at those when we're onto the rest of the job later on. But I know this one will have to come out because I'm looking at putting a board on the back here so I can feed wires behind that board and between that and this to keep them tidy. That'll be the plan. I'll put the trim back on, of course, but I'll just get this one out and that should do me for this part of today. And I'll figure out what to do with these plugs a little bit later. But anyway, that'll be something for later on. Alright, I'm just going to rip that out, put the trim back on, and that'll probably do this part of this, and then Kaz can get into the vacuuming. Alright, well that's it put together for this week's travel, because this literally isn't going to be continued until next weekend. So we will show it to you by the magic of editing in this clip, but this is not happening till next weekend. Well, good morning. Continuing on from what we've done so far, I'm now on my way down to Andrew's place at Gosford, where we're going to continue on with it. So I'm basically recording this bit purely and simply because this is a different camera and a different microphone. It should look the same as the one I usually have on the windscreen, but I don't really know. So this is to tell you what's going on and to test this camera. It's only another old GoPro 3 that I have used prior for different things, but I've never had an external mic on it, so it's just something new. Hopefully the audio is okay. Alright, well, we'll keep going and I will see you as the rest of the build progresses. Now I had recorded this great intro clip saying hello to Andrew and hello to Pat. For some reason I can't find the footage. So the next bit of the clip will be back into the back of the car, so sorry about that. Low budget production here, guys. Cheers. That's where the Jack used to live. Now Pat's drilled holes out there to make that flat for the floor, so Jack's never going to live there again. So that's the first part of what we're into already. So now Pat is busily just siliconing up these holes, just so we've got no possible leakage and crap from the back. Not that it should be, but just to make sure that we've got no issues there. Except for this really big hole here, but Pat reckons he can fill this. Pat's filled a few big holes over the years. We're not going to say any more about that. And of course that is Pat that you'd remember from previous videos. And of course his trailer, which has been one of my most popular videos, funnily enough. Right, we were going to cut this off, but we've decided we're going to angle the timber from there down past that until it gets to the back there. Now after the frame's made, we'll design that timber section to go over here, and I'm going to I'll have pockets in to get to these two storage bins, even though when the fridge is in over that side it'll be hard to get to that one, so it'll be stuff you only want to get to once in a blue moon. So that's the plan now. Have an angled backboard here. So the next part is we remove that. We're just taking the trim out of here, and while I'm at it, I'll take these seatbelt tops out. I'll work out the bottom in due course. Now we've removed that. I want to do the rest of these seatbelts, so to do those I've had to take the seal out of here. This will be unclip this panel here that I'm showing you to get to the bottom of that. The top probably don't need to unclip. But anyway, I've got to pull the seatbelt out. I'll do one side and then I'll put it back together and do the other side. Right, now with the trim removed, you have to undo the T50 Torx nut there. You don't need to remove the trim to undo this one, and that'll take that out. Then I'll put the trim back in this side, and I'll do the same on the other side. Just as part of the process, we pull out these little straps that held the wind down tools out, just because there's no point in them being there. Andrew on the tools. We've all been on the tools now. Andrew's the best at it. I'm the worst at it. So you get that, don't you? And when Andrew's done that bit, I'll go around the other side and pull that other seatbelt out, which you don't need to see. You've seen one. Right, seatbelts are out. Looking fairly empty. I'll probably put the back trim back in here shortly, because we're going to probably line up against that with our timber, but we're getting there. I'll show you the next bit when it's practical. This is why I come to Pat. Pat's got the tools. Precision cutting 101. So when I say the tools, I mean this tool, not that tool. Oh, Pat's genius welds, look at those. Wish I could weld like that. So, doing a rough test fit. See if we can get the bolts to line up. Pat's a man of great skill. This one's close but no cigar. We'll get to that in a second. Take that stupid thing off it. If you didn't know better, you'd think Pat's made stuff like this before, wouldn't you? Like a complete camper trailer, amongst other things. Right, so this is bolted in, and it's solid as. I didn't know Pat was going to use steel this thick to start with. I thought we might have to put legs down here, but we're not going to have to. So that'll be okay. We'll be painting this, but that'll be later. So we're in the process of measuring up how big the timber's got to be. And Andrew's going to walk in here with his tape measure any second. He's pretending not to be on camera, but he can't help himself. We've decided to go for this board here for the backboard and the base. Mainly because it's easier to get this and cheaper, rather than cut up a massive great sheet of ply, which would have been a problem and would have had way more than we needed. So we've gone this way. And it's already got a grey edge. Woohoo! This is why I get Andrew to do this stuff, because he's got clamps and straight edges and skills, pretty well all things I don't have. Yeah, except eyesight apparently. Can't see, but neither can I, so between us it's the blind leading the blind, so that'll make it a challenge. But now he's made a spectacle of himself, so he'll be right. Next stage. Bit of timber in the back. Now for measuring. It's getting closer all the time. Now I don't know how well you can see this, so I'll use my finger to help. This is the cutout for the door pocket on the driver's side. So we've measured the front to the back and so on, but the pockets curve in on a Ranger. So we're going to jigsaw this out, test fit the driver's side, and then we're going to worry about that side. One side at a time. Slow process, but fortunately I'm a slow person, so it's a good thing Andrew knows what he's doing. Right, as you can see, we've got some timber marked out roughly. Andrew's marking the edge where the steel is underneath it, so you work out where to bolt it down. That's the backboard. Now obviously it's all going to be carpeted, but as you can see it's going to take up a fair chunk of the back, which is the idea of it after all. I didn't show you trimming this out because it's mostly trial and error of a jigsaw until we got it roughly the way we liked it around the door pockets. So I'll show you more when there's more practical stuff to show you. That was Andrew. And no, girls, Andrew is married. Bad luck. I haven't shown you much for a while, because a lot of it was just sitting there working out where to mark things. But now we've drilled some holes, we've put some M6 riv nuts into the base for the M6 bolts. We're just ready to put the top on it and test fit that, since I undo that bolt. Look at Andrew, he's an action man. Now, theoretically, when this is lined up, should slide in there like that. You get Lucky Phil, the screwdriver. We've probably got one of over here somewhere. It's not the right size, but it'll do. And that's definitely attached. So this is just a test fit, and we'll unbolt them and bolt them up again, God knows how many more times, but we'll show you more as there's more stuff that's actually worth looking at to show you. Let's face it, doing up screws and bolts, not very exciting content, is it, guys? Right, now hopefully you can see that. They're bolted into the riv nuts, so that worked. So we're getting there. This has all got to be carpeted, of course, and we've still got to put slots in here and here to get to the underfloor storage. So we'll figure that out. We've now cut big holes in it, ready for the pockets, or for the storage pockets, which is fairly apparent. Big holes. We've discovered that with the riv nuts, the timber's lifted up off the metal frame a little bit. So Andrew's got this bloody black edging stuff. I don't even know where he's got it from. And let's not ask. And that's going to hold the trapdoors, whatever you want to call them, up so they're at the right level. It's all very professional here at Andrew Enterprises. Right, now I didn't show you us cutting holes for brackets and stuff like that, because there's no fun in that. But get a load of this stuff. Artificial grass adhesive. That's what's going to stick the carpet on, because that is the best stuff apparently. So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to look a bit flashier. There's the first of the brackets for holding the fridge in, mounted. That's Pete. Just so you know, I'm not on my own in Andrew's shed. So we're getting there. We'll show you the next bit when I've got something else to show you. You'll be sick of this saying by the end of this clip, won't you? Yeah, we're spraying the frame. But then we're going to call it quits for the night, because we've had enough. Andrew has spoken, and I'm not game enough to argue with him, because he's tougher than I am. So we'll see you
the next day.
Well, it's the next morning. The carpet is set. So we're just trimming some edges. Going to paint along these sides. I'm going to fold it at the back here. Then we're going to move on to the next stage. I'm not sure what the next stage is, but we're going to move on to it. So we'll figure that out in a while. And over here is the painted frame, ready to bolt that floor back onto and go back inside. So we're getting there. Right, as you can see, got the floor basically in. Andrew's just trimming the carpet there because he's a perfectionist, and it'll actually work better if we do. The floor's basically in. I'm going to try test fit that first trapdoor in a minute. Then it'll be this one here to finish this one up, and then we're pretty close to doing the backboard. That's a fridge bracket there, fridge bracket there. They're the two that hold the battery in, and the other fridge brackets there and there. So they're not too in the way for putting gear in and out the back when there's no fridge in it. You do have to make some sacrifices for things like fridges. False floor in the back of the Ranger, half done. Just carpeted the backboard for here. I'll be into that part in a little while. Now the floor basically done. We're now applying, well, Andrew is now applying the artificial turf glue to the backboard here. Now we thought we might have this done last night, but everything takes longer than you want it to, so we're going to stick the glue on here, stick the carpet to that, and we have to do a Bunnings run anyway, so we thought we'd carpet it first, give it time to dry while we go to Bunnings. So that's what we're up to. You should smell this stuff, guys. It's awesome. But it sticks really, really well. Shit to a blanket. Yes, I said it. Shit to a blanket. That's what it sticks like. But the results are over here. This is our completed floor with the trapdoors in. Now I won't lift the trapdoors up at the minute because we've painted the edges of them. We're letting the edges dry. They've got little straps to lift them up, which won't get in the way when you're loading on top of it if you haven't got a fridge and everything in there. Alright, looks pretty good. And that backboard with the same carpet as this will go up here and house the electrics. So we're getting there. Looking in from the passenger side, the backboard's nearly in place. The battery is in place. I reckon it's looking pretty good. It's basically finished. I have to get a couple of bolts to hold the backboard in because I couldn't get them today. It's Sunday. But it's basically done. I'm loving it.
3 weeks later.
Okay, what you're looking at now is my rego papers. It has a seating capacity of 5. That's it there. Yeah, it may be a bit blurry. Sorry if it is. But anyway, today I'm going to go down the road and get it inspected to change that. So come with me and we'll see how we go. Well, good morning. It's been a couple of weeks in this ongoing project of the back seat, and that's due to work commitments and being able to get things done. So today I'm on my way down to Gary's Auto, which is a local mechanical shop in Raymond Terrace, where in the town I live, and they do blue slips. Now, upon inquiries, you don't need a blue slip to get this modification approved, but you do need to have it inspected physically by an unregistered vehicle inspection station, aka somewhere who does blue slips. There's a $30 cost, or at least it is at my auto shop, to have it inspected, and what you're getting is a change of details. I'm assuming they send that straight through via computer to the RMS, and then you go into the RMS and they say, yes, we found that on the computer, and they change it on your rego. Now that may or may not impact the price of the rego on this, but as I've shown you some footage earlier, it's registered as a 5-seater. Now obviously it's no longer a 5-seater. I don't want it to be a 5-seater, I want it to be a 2-seater. I want it to be registered as a 2-seater, and then once it's registered as a 2-seater, if you know anybody who wants a back seat for a dual cab Ranger, let me know, because I'll be happy to sell it off. Once it's registered as a 2-seater, I don't ever want to put a seat back in it again. They did tell me that if you do want to put the back seat back in it again later on, it's the same process. Take all the stuff out, put all the seat and everything back out, the seat belts back in, go and have it inspected again for a fee again, and change the details. So it's not a engineering or a compliance issue as such. It just has to be proven that if you have no seat, there's no way people will be sitting in there, and that it's only designed to be a 2-seater. So that's what we're up to today. The little bings you're hearing in the background is it's school hours, and my GPS is telling me they're in 40 zones and so on. Alright, I don't know if I'll be able to film at the workshop or whether I can get the guys to tell me what they're up to. That's completely unknown, so we'll just play that one by ear. Anyway, hopefully we'll see you in a little while when that's all done, and we'll get back to you then. Cheers. Okay, the boys at the workshop didn't wish to be filmed, which is fair enough. It wasn't a long process. Literally a guy came out, had a look in the back, discovered, yes, there's no seats, of course. There's no way of restraining anybody. There's no way anybody can sit in there. Rah, rah, rah. So that was, he looked at the car for, wouldn't be more than 2 minutes, maybe. And then he went inside and put a thing into, on the interweb to the RMS to say it's a 2-seater. Now I could wait until my next rego papers come in the mail, where it'll then say it's a 2-seater, and just do it then, or I can go down to RMS now and change them on the current papers, or get another paper printed, which I'm going to do just for my own peace of mind. I don't need to. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be telling me lies, so I dare say there's absolutely no requirement for me to do this, but I've chosen to do this anyway, just so I have it on the current papers. And I was technically correct about what they charged me. They charged me 31, not 30, 31. But anyway, Now with the zombie apocalypse being in full swing, as we're all aware, I'll have to go and place myself in a queue and fiddle around and whatnot. So I'm not going to subject you guys to any of that stuff, because you don't need to see it. So I'll go and do that, and then I'll give you a look at the rego papers when they're all done. So see you then. Okay, we're back at home. Really don't know how well you're seeing this. Printer was a little bit light at the RMS, but now it says 2-seater. And if you can't see that on camera, well, I'm sorry, that's the best I can do with the camera I've got. But anyway, hopefully it's come out alright. Wasn't a painful experience. It turned out to be pretty straightforward. Alright, so there wasn't a lot to that particular job today. It took maybe 20 minutes total, realistically, from the time I arrived at the mechanical shop to the time I was at the RMS, and it took me maybe another 5-10 minutes at the RMS to get that done, and it was all done. So $31, that's all the paperwork's changed and everything else, and now it's officially a 2-seater. Now the job's coming up for the back of the Ranger. I'll do on another video. I want to do all the electrics and stuff on that, so I'll go through that with you down the track. But this was just to convert the Ranger from the 5-seater to 2-seater and build the floor. So I hope you found this video of use and enjoyed it, and no doubt you can comment on it, what you think of it, whatever you like to do, it's fine with me. Anyway, I hope you like this video. If you're new here, consider subscribing if you want. If you're an old hand, thanks again for taking the time to watch one of my videos. If you are subscribed, click the bell for notifications, when the new ones come up. And we'll catch up with you guys again on the next one. Take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.